I love these type of discussions because I don't think there's a right and a wrong answer. I don't want to control football matches without the ball. It's a great question. I think tactically it's an amazing discussion.
Why is it so difficult to win the Champions League?
The pressure of the opposition is very, very important. So don't play one touch. I mean, that's the worst thing you can ever do when you play against a team that marks man to man. Where is the space? Which guy said width is an important part of attack? The last line of your rest defense has to be proper and get ready to deal with the possibilities of the counter-attack. I think the Moroccan newspapers and the media and the journalists should make more noise for Abdel to be in the national team. Abilities to say, do you press to score? And Jurgen Klopp has always said that the best number 10 is a very good counter press. Leading up to the final, we worked on this press. It's difficult to go to Casablanca and think you're going to dominate the game. It's impossible. And then you've got Jabran, who controls everything in the midfield.
How do you explain that? 27 shots without scoring one goal.
Diaz is a very good player for you. Ziyech is important for you. I think he's an unbelievable footballer. He's athletic, he's fast, he's aggressive, he's good with the ball. And
if he takes his phone and calls you, would you take that call?
We've got a very good national team coach. He's a fantastic national team coach. I would put Amrabat in between the two centre backs because I think Amrabat plays a little bit better when he sees the pitch.
We are here really to try to promote also African football.
It was a great, insightful discussion, and thank you very much for having me.
السلام عليكم الدراري ومرحبا بكم معنا في ابيزود جديد ديال بودكاست الفيستير. معكم عصام بريزونطاتور ديال البودكاست كيف العاده. انوار اسامه لي كرونيكور حتى هما معنا. مرحبا بكم الدراري.
مرحبا بك عصام، مرحبا بك اسامه، مرحبا بالناس اللي كيتصنتوا لنا، مرحبا بالانفيتي ديالنا اللي غادي نقدموها ابري.
مرحبا بكم، شكرا عصام، شكرا انوار، مرحبا بالانفيتي ديالنا. مي يلا غادي عصام جوبونس الناس ان شاء الله ما يفهموش نطاري.
L'épisode de اليوم épisode très spécial لان معنا انفيتي très spécial. دونك جو نتسناو غادي نهضروا فيه بالانجلي مع الانفيتي ديالنا. دونك فوالا مي غيكون سوتيتراج. دونك غادي نزيدوا سوتيتراج في الفيديو كوم سا الناس كلهم يفهموا معنا شنو كنقولوا. فوالا خليكم معنا. n'hésitez pas à vous abonner ou le like بحال ديما. So we will switch to English. So today we have with us one of the best coaches in Africa, actually, if not the best, coach of Mamelodi Sundowns, Mr. Rulani Mokwena. Coach, thank you for accepting our invite and welcome to Lvestiaire.
Salam alaikum and
Salam.
Thank you for having me, and it's a great pleasure to be with you guys. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. I just want to thank also two people for making this episode happen. Ayman, who is working with us from ISFAR, who gave me the contact for Ghulam. And Ghulam, of course, without whom I don't think this episode will happen. So thank you both guys for making this happen. And we really appreciate it. Without any further action, with further things, I want to go directly to talk to football with you, Coach. We in Lvestiaire, we watched your team playing since I think 3 or 4 years now. We saw it grow also on the African Champions League, especially. This year, we also followed you on your South African League. And let's say in modern football today, there are 3 styles of play that we can talk about. There are the positional play, let's say Guardiola style. We have relationism play, like what the coach of Fluminense, Fernando Diniz, is doing, right?
Fernando Diniz, yeah.
And transitional play. So my first question to you: where do you situate yourself in these 3, and how do you manage to use it in your benefit?
Yeah, it's very interesting that you asked that question, and I preempted actually you asking it. I think I am of the opinion now that the game cannot be played in a certain specific way. I think the game should be played about the moments, and the players need to understand the moments. And to understand the moments is to educate the players on on the references to each and every situation, and then allow the players to make decisions in relation to that. So, but I'm a big believer that the big teams, and I think what modern football is talking to us about is that you need to have very good controlled attacks as a big team. Do the simple things, take care of the ball, and not open yourself up to counterattacks. I think then you've also got to be very good on transitions. I think now with the modern game, you've got to be very good on transitions, and those present themselves even from throw-in situations now in the modern game. And then also, I think you've got to be very good and effective on set pieces. So I wouldn't really term it a style of play because part of me is a little bit of a positional sense in certain phases of the game, and part of me is a little bit relational in certain moments of the game. So a little bit of each, and then of course, I think you cannot separate transitions from football. I think it's gonna be even worse now that the game of football becomes even faster and faster.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't separate transitions from and I don't even think you could say, in my opinion, that transition is a style of play. I'm not so sure, because I think it's a phase of the game.
Okay.
And I think it's a phase of the game that you can't separate, because the game is so close to each other, defending, attacking, but in between there is that split second of when possession is lost or regained, So what do you call that? Do you know what I mean?
The reason I ask that question, because we actually see European football, and some questions sometimes, I take the example of Luis Enrique, the coach of PSG. And I saw an interview with him, a journalist asking him, and he said, actually in this match, you actually play transitional play. And he wasn't happy about that question. He told him, no, I don't play transitional play. I play positional play. I dominate the game. I want my players to be high up the pitch. I don't do that. That's my first question to you was that to clear it. So
look, I think it's a beautiful question, and I think I love these type of discussions, because I don't think there's a right and a wrong answer. But I do think that, like I said to you, I think there are moments your team has to respond in a transitional way against certain opponents in certain matches, and has to be effective in identifying what are the conditions that create a transition, a counter-attack, and when your players are able to identify these moments, you can have look at Arsenal for an example, and even Manchester City. The moment they've scored the first one, and they play high, they press you from the top. Really, in all honesty, after that, it's sometimes it's a block that's retreated and goes slightly deeper than it used to be, and that affords them the space behind to be able to use Doku or Saka and get possibilities to create the second and the third and the fourth. So I think it's about phases of the game, and I think it's about your players being able to identify these moments and identify the conditions, when to play faster, when to play a little bit slower, and I think that's where coaching is going to go in the future.
Okay.
That's very interesting what you're saying, Coach. Is that when I hear you actually talking, I feel like you're more about talking about adapting to the opponent. There are some coaches that want to control the game, like Guardiola. He wants to control the game from the beginning until the end of the game. Do you have some inspirations, for example, some coaches that you say, okay, I saw what he has done and I want to do something like this, for example?
Look, I don't think it's about controlling. I feel the game with the ball. I don't want to control football matches without the ball. I think the ball is the most important part of the football game, and my feelings have always been very strongly aligned towards coaching a team that is ball orientated and looks to dominate and really focuses on itself more than the opposition. But of course, the details within the opposition, they matter a little bit, in certain aspects. For sure, when you speak about superiorities, of course, you have to try, and that's why they call it a chess game. You've got to try to be able to put the right players in the right positions for the right games against the right opposition. And then, of course, it's about decision making of the players in identifying the picture, and these are the certain things that we want to do, and because this is how we want to do them, this is how we can simulate them on the pitch, and I think that's where football is going, in my opinion. I think you've got to give the players a variety of possibilities. You've got to give the players a variety of okay, guys, if this happens and you fail to do it like these are the consequences, and the players are aware of what happens if and when they don't do certain things in a certain way. So I think that's where education and teaching will come into a little bit more in that space, where we're going to move away from managers and more on-field coaches, people that are on the pitch teaching and educating players.
And with that being said, I mean, I understand that there are phases, like you said, sometimes defending in a block, playing on transition, playing very quick, sometimes dominating the game, having the ball, trying to play high, I think. Do you actually have also the same philosophy as when we defend? We want to defend and we progress. We want to force turnarounds. We want to force the players of the other team to do things that they don't want to do. We don't want them to play comfortably. So do you have that same idea, or you are at ease at sitting back and just waiting for the right moment to strike, let's say?
It's another great question. I think tactically, I think it's an amazing discussion, because I think first without possession, your thinking is always how do you want to behave when you are in possession. The phases of the game are interdependent and interrelated. So if I want to attack with possibilities of combination play and volume in and around the opposition box, then it only makes sense that I try to regain the ball as close as possible to the opposition half. And if I want to counter attack and attack with space behind and use the speed of my players, then it's only proper that I retreat the block, and I go into zone 2 or zone 1, and maybe an ultra low block with possibilities of runs behind and balls put behind. But the truth of the matter for me is that once you've gone into that space, the second part is that you then have to say, okay, well, if we look to press, where are we pressing, and that already gives us possibilities of initiating the press, and that is dependent on certain triggers, dependent on certain opposition qualities or deficiencies, and maybe certain pressing traps that you want to set on the pitch and in certain areas of the pitch. And then I think once you've got the direction, now it's about how do we press now? Is it man orientated, where we go one-on-one, and we see it a little bit more now in the modern game? Is it ball orientated, where it doesn't necessarily matter your position and your man, and you just if you see one going, 3, 4, 5 of you go, and you go aggressively hunt for the ball? And or maybe it's zonal press, where you only press when you shift across and you wait for the ball to enter your area and the man in your area, and you are able to intercept. But I think once you get into that space, then you have a clear understanding, and I think everything starts with the ideas that you have in your brain and how you'd like to see your team play.
Osama, you have a question?
Yeah. So in that case, I think the condition of the price, the physical conditions of the players plays a lot. So, like, are you in favor, like, to let, for example, someone that can make the difference, and that maybe after 60 minutes he's tired and can't do the pressing? Or are you more favorable now that we have five substitutes that we can do? Are you more favorable that at the 60 minutes I want to make my five substitutes so that I can be able to really have more fresh players?
Yeah, another tough question. I think again, once it's really in a, there's a lot of connotations to that. The first thing is you already think about the schedule and the volume and the number of games, of course, and then you think about the age, and so you personalize it a little bit more with regards to how old the player is and his recovery protocols. And then, of course, you think about the team and how ready the team is to be rotated consistently. So there's quite a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I think what really matters is what we always say from a conditioning perspective is try to make sure that your best team is on the pitch. And that's the biggest focus from a conditioning perspective, and it's becoming a lot harder. It's becoming a lot harder because there's a lot of games now, and there's less training and there's less time on the pitch, and unfortunately, building things like muscle integrity become very, very difficult.
Okay. Let me go. Then I'll let you. Anwar, we have a lot of questions, Coach.
Yes.
My question to you is: you mentioned that you are more adapt. You adapt to the teams also, but you can identify your teams more of a positional, even if there are some phases where you play with relationism, with also transition play. Do you put the age, for example, up high? Do you play with how I said, because that's something I already saw in your teams when with the fullbacks, inverted fullbacks coming in, sometimes pushing the age side, sometimes the wingers can get in also. Sometimes I don't see anyone in the wings. That is something really, really interesting to see, because that's actually, for me, it's a characteristic of relationism football. When you have one of the players in one, let's say, one part of the field, and you keep that everyone in that zone until you make that ball goes up and progress. So what is on all of this mix? How can we say that? Mamelodi Sundowns is a team that plays football of identity of positional play plus relationism in this area. How can we identify this in all of this mix?
Sure. Look, I think even when you listen to the other day, I was listening to Pep Guardiola speaking about him being a big thief. You know, he steals ideas from many other coaches, and he watches them and he takes some of the details with him to add into. I think that's generally where we are as coaches now, in a space where we've got to consistently learn from other coaches and consistently evolve our game so that we are not as predictable as possible, and sometimes it's not very easy because again, for me, what's important is not necessarily what you want, the coach. Of course, you've got certain principles that govern how you want to play and how you want to see the team on the pitch. But the tactics and the real details come from the player that you are putting into into a specific role, and whether or not he has the qualities to perform certain aspects. And then, of course, is trying to make everybody comfortable on the pitch to be able to perform to their best and be able to deliver good performances.
Anwar?
Yeah, actually, here, coach, in Lvestiaire, we are very passionate about tactics and football in general. That's why we're here, actually. And when we hear you talking about all these tactics, I feel like you have a large palette of and knowledge about tactics in football, and you're trying to adapt actually to the team. You've already played a lot of big games in Africa against a lot of big teams, Al Ahli in Egypt, Espérance in Tunisia, Wydad, of course, many times. So, do you adapt your style of playing to these teams, or you go there and then you're trying to control the game?
It's difficult, because nobody goes to Cairo and dominates for 90 minutes. It's impossible. It's as much as I would love to do it.
We were hoping for Casablanca too.
It's the same. I mean, no one can go to Casablanca and dominate for 90 minutes. It's impossible. And so when we go into the match, we try as much as possible that we can dominate the game and we can have most of the possession, and that's very, very important for us for a number of factors, but also because it's how the squad is built. It's why we have certain players in our team to play a certain way, but at the same time we have a contingent that's still able to perform regardless of whether we are home or away. But the style of play needs to stay the same for sure, even though we alter certain details. Etihad Allah, for an example, is a fullback that you have to understand not only the dynamics of when he makes movements from deeper, but when he makes movements from diagonal balls coming into the far post from the opposite side into the final third with runs from deep. I mean, these are possibilities that you, of course, every single game you go into each match with these type of details in your mind and having to prepare the team, but you try to make sure that the team is the team. We have that personality and we are able to put our personality on the pitch.
Mm-hmm. So I mentioned earlier the positional play, the relationism play. How do you manage to go from one to the other inside the game?
Well, I think the game demands that. It's not. I think look, for me is the player has 5 reference points. The first is himself, and that self-awareness is very important. Is where am I? What role am I doing? What position on the pitch? Which area of the pitch am I occupying? The second is his teammates. The third is the opponent. The fourth is the ball, and the fifth is space. Now, this is where you can't coach and say this is the position you have to be all the time, because there are moments in the game where the ball moves, or your teammate moves, or the opponent moves, and a certain different space is then created, and then a different reaction has to take place.
Even before the final third, you don't give instructions, for example, to your players to stay in some areas on the pitch?
No, well, we have certain schemes that we develop for sure in the boxes, but those are also related to the opposition. So it depending on how the opposition defend their situations, or depending on how the opposition build up from the back and are able to develop certain situations. That's how we develop these schemes. But generally we try to paint pictures for the players. We try to say, in this scenario, when it's a 3 versus 2 and he's left-footed and he's right-footed, and we try to do quite a lot of that, because I think generally that's where the game that's where the game is going for us to be able to have more detail in it.
Usama?
No, go ahead. I don't have a question now.
Anwar, you have a question?
Yes, actually, coach, with Mamelodi Sundowns, you've already won the Super League, not the Champions League yet. We hope you can win it with your team or with another team, maybe. Inshallah, like we said, yeah. And so, why is it so difficult to win the Champions League?
The African Champions League.
The African Champions League.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I knew the answer. I would have won the Champions League already if I knew the answer.
Or why do Al Ahly wins it all the time? Do you have any rational answer to that?
Maybe it's the history, or yeah.
No, but well, that plays a big role for sure. I think prestige, football heritage, I think, is a very, very important thing. It's like Real Madrid with the UEFA Champions League. They've got an obsession with it. That's their competition. They train every single day for that competition. What makes it difficult for Southern African teams is quite a lot of things. And the other day I was actually reading about how Al Ahly have only played 7 games. It's crazy, or something like that, in the domestic league, and they were 17 points behind Pyramids. So the support that some of the nations get from the federations, that helps also quite a bit. But there's quite a lot of things really, and you've just got to make sure that even from a coaching perspective, you're consistently there. You're in the semifinals, you're in the finals. This is what we did. This is what Esperance. This is what Al Ahly continue to do every single season. They're in the semifinals, finals, semifinals, finals, and that's what we are trying to do. Because ever since we won it in 2016, we only got to the quarterfinals. Then we got knocked out of the group stages. And then it was quarterfinals. Up until now, it's 2 back-to-back semifinals, and that's what we want next season again: semifinals, finals, semifinals, finals, and ultimately we will be in a position to win it.
Yes, I will get back to you to tactics again before we go to the support and videos with one of your assistants in the team. We didn't speak about your counter pressing and with your rest defense display, because that's something we see a lot in your team. But I have a question. We see rest defense in, for example, when we see the matches of Manchester City. You talked about Arsenal with Arteta, Luis Enrique with PSG. All of those coaches and managers that are doing positional play, they all have the same rest defense mechanism. But you have this, let's say, variety of relationism play in plot. So how do you manage this defense with that? For example, if you have all your plays in one side of the pitch, the other side, for example, the team has 2 or 3 plays that are free. How do you manage that?
Yeah, look, I think sometimes we have to, like I say, we've got to do what we want to do most of the time on the pitch.
Okay.
And of course, there are instances that influence our organizational forms with relation to what the opposition do, and even on our rest defense, we've got a safety net that changes consistently, also based on the picture. Once again, like I said, I mean, there's you can have a rest defense of a 2 and a 3, and your position leave it three up front and one behind, and so what do you do? You can have a situation where the opposition play a little bit asymmetric on counter attack, and so what do you do? So I think the players have got to always have this the liberty to learn and to be taught how to make good decisions on the pitch, and that's through good training, that's through showing videos and working a little bit hard around these things to improve our players from a tactical perspective in terms of making better decisions.
So we can say that it's safe to say that you, instead of adapting yourself to the opposition, you only think about what you can do, having this advantage, positional advantage at some areas of the field, and you force the opponent to adapt to your style of play. We can say,
Yes.
yeah.
You can say that, but put also that the game is not only just about that. It's about imposing yourself when you are in possession, but preparing to cover yourself and not get exposed when position is lost, and that's where now you come back to counter pressing, and this is very, very, very important.
Okay.
And just because we have sometimes a problem with the Moroccan team, because we each time we look at them, it's just that we like imagine that they are not capable, because maybe a selection is not the same as a club, that in the training they maybe cannot really do the same scenarios, try to do the pressing and all that stuff. What do you think about that? Do you think that it depends on the manager, like the training could be really a good image of the match, or what do you think?
Is this in relation to the national team? You guys just won 6-0 against Congo.
No.
You should be very happy, people.
No, we're not.
We are.
Still not. You are. Not all of us.
Yeah, we are, but we see that there are some.
No, we didn't play against, let's say, with all due respect to Congo, but we didn't play against a good team with good defensive display. The issue we have.
But a win is a win, guys, and what's important sometimes is to understand that football is a game. It's a game, and with every game comes the possibility to win, to lose, or to draw. Every single time the game starts. I mean, in whatever game you want to get involved in, there must be one winner, and this is football, and that's why we love the game so much. Is that it's so unpredictable that even the worst of teams can beat the best of teams, and so sometimes when we win and your national team wins, like against Congo, you guys have got to appreciate, because winning is not something you should take for granted. It's not an everyday thing. It doesn't matter how good your team is. You still have to perform and get the results. And I think your national team, like every other team, has got its weaknesses and its strengths, but I think it's doing exceptionally well.
We get to the national team right after.
But Coach, so you are more with the results than the manner of winning.
Of the way of winning, yeah.
The way of winning, yeah.
It's such a difficult conversation, this one, to have, because I'm one person that I feel the game the way I feel the game. I got involved in the game because I grew up in a township where there were shebeens. I don't know if you know what a shebeen is. This is like a tavern where they sell alcohol for the people. And when the favorite team in the community won, there was alcohol for everybody. It was a celebration. The cars would be hooting and making a noise on the street. So I grew up with football, feeling football that way, feeling the joy and the happiness and the pride that it brings to its people, and that's why I want to coach like that. I want to coach where my team plays a certain way and reflects a certain feeling about the game itself. And then, of course, 100% number one is I want to win. And but like all the other coaches, I want to win, and that's the bottom line. But there's a certain way that I want to win, and it's a way that when I go to sleep at night, it makes me happy that I can coach, I can be involved in a team that plays this type of football, and that's always going to be something that's very important for me in my coaching career.
So we're joined now by one of the analysts of Coach Rulani's team, Mamelodi Sundowns. Sbo, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me. Really happy to be here.
Hello.
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 Sbuda.
So we can start then the sharing of the support of the videos. Coach, I don't know if you want to start now talking about your attacking principles.
Well, it depends. Where we starting on
The build-up
on
phase.
on the build-up phase. Okay.
Yes.
Well, there's three things that we look to try to achieve. Is to create overloads, and that is always dependent on the pressure. So the pressure of the opposition is very, very important for us, because that is what indicates quite a lot of things. It indicates the number of players we need during build up. It also indicates the speed at which we need to build up. So we try to create those, and it's about finding the free player and then verticality, and then of course it's a build up that says when we have a 3 and a 2 with a staggered midfield or staggered pivot, or we choose a goalkeeper and a centre back, and then we try to form a box midfield, or a three and a 3. These are the schemes that we have. Or when we overload with the centre back in the next line, so we have maybe a right full back with a keeper. But these are some of the schemes that we try to work on and try to create certain possibilities for principles, because the principle is create overloads. That's the number one principle, and everything else then falls into that principle.
Okay. And when do you use one or the other in the matches? You adapt that to the system of the opposition?
Yeah, it depends on the opponent. It's the players to see the opponents are pressing with 3. The opponent is pressing with 4. The opponent is pressing with 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on the opposition, but for sure we work on different schemes and different scenarios, so that when the opposition comes up with certain things, we're able to have the right answers. And particularly also because we do a lot of work in the analysis, and our analysts and our coaches work very, very hard in analyzing the games and trying to find certain schemes or patterns in the opposition play.
So inside, do you do these changes inside one match, or before the match when you analyze the opponent, you say, okay, I will be on a staggered midfield, or I will use a triple pivot, or
No. It depends on the situation.
Okay.
There are times when it's before the match. There are times when it's during the match. And because the game, the flow of the game also changes. The game of football is not constant. It's there's consistently different pictures and different questions posed to the players, and the better coached the player is, the better the possibilities to recognize certain pictures and find them. The best players in the world at the moment are the ones that find the right answers for the right problems every single time. That's just the bottom line.
And the idea is to always find the free man, right?
Well, you want to try to find the free man, but the possibilities is how do you progress that, and how do you generate that on the pitch, and you have to try to generate it with certain aspects. Sometimes We use the keeper. Sometimes we use a fullback. Sometimes we use a centre back. Sometimes we use a striker. Sometimes we use a winger. And sometimes we use possibilities of different scenarios from throw-ins and from goal kicks. So these are the fundamentals in relation to that.
And I have maybe it's a provocative question, but let's say tomorrow you play against Gasperini, and there is a man-to-man marking man for your team. So you don't have a free man actually. What do you do in that situation?
Don't play one touch.
Okay. One touch.
Don't play one touch. I mean, that's the worst thing you can ever do when you play against a team that marks man-to-man.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to try to keep the ball as much as you possibly can in your jewels. Develop press resistance and try to get away from your man so that you can attract another man. And when you attract the other man, then hopefully there's another one of your teammates that's free. So it's about trying to it's going to be commonly used now in the modern game, the man-to-man press.
But you don't use space actually behind the defenders, for example.
Oh yeah. You use it a lot, but this is the thinking about where is the space. The space is in relation to who presses. The guy that presses is the guy that leaves certain spaces open on the pitch. But the guy that presses is not the same person every single time the ball moves, and so that's why the players have to understand not only in relation to how we want to play, but where the ball is, where the opponent is, and which opponent presses, and what sort of movements to make to try to arrive in the space at the same time as the ball arrives in the space, and try to progress towards the goal as fast as we possibly can.
So actually, Sam, you asked a question, and I think Sbu just showed the man-to-man opponent. That's how we see the analyst part of
exactly.
That's really nice, actually.
Yeah. It would be good if we can see it actually. If you can play it as well from your side, you can see the animation of the build-up when opponent goes man-to-man.
Can you see it on your side right now?
Yes. Yeah, we can see the screen, but it's not yet played, I think.
It's an animation or a video?
It's an animation, so it just goes step by step, but you'll see as the opponents go man-to-man, like that. And you asked something about looking for the space behind, so that's the space that opens up. And we have a very good goalkeeper who has the ability to find those space. We have a clip to show an example like that. You can see the team is going man-to-man. You can see all over the field it's man-to-man.
Yeah, unfortunately,
and the solution, as you said earlier.
I think it's blocked, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can't see the actual animation. We just see the slide with the.
Yeah, we see only the screen, but not. It's.
Also, you can't see the video.
No, not the video.
Yeah.
Oh, the video doesn't play. And these you could see.
Yes, this one we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, but
only now I can see. Yes, now I can see. Possible. Perfect.
You can try and pull the clips out.
Okay.
No, just play it from there. Let's see.
And then maybe I can just show. Can you see it from here?
Yeah, it's playing a little bit now, slowly, but it's playing.
Is it not small?
No, it's playing now. No, it's exactly, it's Polokwane City when they did man-to-man against us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a 3+2 build-up, or 3+3.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 3+3.
Okay, yeah. And you use your goalkeeper to put long balls, right?
Yeah. It's very important for us with that.
Yeah.
Key.
I think that this was the mistake that Xabi Alonso did in the final, because he didn't want to play long balls. He insisted on playing like one touch and doing the build up from small passes from the beginning.
I think Usama is referring to the Europa League final against Atalanta when with the pressing man-to-man of Gasperini, he insisted on playing short with the passing schemes, and he didn't want the goalkeeper to play long. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but the long ball is a long ball, not a long pass.
yeah,
And sometimes it's an important pass to play over the press, you know. But it has to be a pass. It can't be a long ball. It has to be a pass. And I think modern football, especially now, also with this man-to-man marking, the long pass is going to come into the game a little bit more now also.
can we get back, Sbu, to the first slide where you showed us the build-up and the midfield animation and everything, so we can continue.
The animation, do you see, does it move on your side, or can you see these movements?
Still no. It's okay. It's no problem. I'm talking about the first slide. If you can roll it back.
Or the first slide?
The video.
This one.
The first one where there was this one, the principles. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if you can, coach, talk about the midfield progression now, the variation you have, the principle of attacking you had.
Yeah, well, that's got a lot to do with the rotations and occupying certain positions on the pitch, but also relating those certain positions to each other. So for an example, there's a 6 and an 8 rotation for the dodge. There's an 8 that moves wide with a 10 that comes in a little bit deeper, and then there's a 3+1 with a DM in the pocket with an 8. And we'll show you some of these clips, to be honest, so that you see exactly what we're talking about. And then the different roles of the fullbacks. We've got different roles for our fullbacks, and the work that we want them to do in certain things. And then left and right side tilt, and then a central and a chosen center tilt. So we've got certain schemes and different schemes and different ways to find the midfield progression.
It's all about dynamics because here, for example, we are still not on the final third, but we can say that you don't use width here, for example.
Yeah, but I always ask you guys a question, the football people. I say to you guys, who said width is an important part of attack? Which guy said width is an important part of attack? Which guy said depth is an important part of attack? It's somebody who said it. So it means that we've got to consistently, to develop the game, we've got to consistently question the game itself. And there's no other way to improve the game of football if we just take it the way it is and copy and paste and we move on. We've got to ask ourselves certain questions about the game, and that's why I ask myself to say, which line would you like to stretch? Would you like to stretch the midfield line, or would you like to stretch the defensive line?
Yeah, and you actually do that even if you're still not on the final third. It's okay for you to not have width and or depth.
Yeah, because in the final third you get closer to the goal, and the goal is central. The goal is not in the corner flag, but the truth of the matter is, how do you get there? And what I would call minimum width is very, very important, especially on the last line of the defensive line, because I would rather I stretch the defensive line than I stretch the midfield line, because the defensive line gives me access and possibilities to find spaces into central positions and closer to the goal of the opponent without any extra line to give it cover. But if you stretch the midfield line, there's still a defensive line that is compact and behind and to give cover. So that's just my thinking. But again, as I say, sometimes my thinking is a little bit different to many of the thinking of many coaches.
And you can use that also when there is high pressing blocks against you. For example, your attacking line, you can tell them not to stay wide like all the coaches says, and maybe higher on the pitch to create space between the lines.
Is in possession or out of possession?
In possession, you have the ball. There is a block, a high pressing block against you, and then what do you manage to do with the players in the attacking line?
Well, it depends on the number one. It depends on the numbers that they leave on the defensive line. Number one, because a lot of teams have this +1 principle, which is very important for them, and of course, then that then says if they've got a +1 plus the goalkeeper, it means somewhere we've got a superiority that we've got to find. And if that superiority could be put on the last line, so why not if you go 4 versus 4, and then see whether or not they make it 5 versus 4 with a +1. But as I say to you, all these things are dependent on the opposition, on the quality of the defenders. Maybe the defenders, the team is pressing high, and the defenders are not so comfortable with pushing high and defending with 40 yards, 50 yards behind them. So what do? Do you still play, or do you try to expose the lack of confidence with the space and the speed behind? It's got so many possibilities, but it's possibilities that have to do with the detail, and paying attention to a little bit more to the detail.
That was actually my question. Is when, for example, defenders don't have the courage to go to press and to go with the block, to stay in a 30 meters block of pressing, for example. So you mentioned that creating space between the defensive line and the midfield line, and exploit that space with to go there and have the ball and progress with the ball. My question was for the wingers, for your wingers, when you have the ball on a static phase, the goalkeeper has it and he has to play maybe long balls because there is a press, a team pressing against you. Do you ask them to stay wide, or they should come in, or something like that?
No, but we don't have the problem. The thing is, we don't have wingers.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't play with wingers, so it becomes very difficult to but there is a role of a winger during build-up in relation to the box and the goal kick. But the truth of the matter is that we don't play with wingers, no.
Okay. All right. Do you have any clips for the midfield animations?
Yeah, maybe Spook can just go through them.
So these were the rotations that the coach was talking about earlier, the 6 and the 8 rotating. So just watch the highlighted players. That's our 6 and our 8. Our 8 and our 10, sorry. So watch how the rotations between them allow us to get into the midfield phase and progress. Stay. Just that dismarking there.
So this is a positional play with dynamic plays, let's say. Don't know how.
Yeah, but this is why I say there's no definition to it. It's why I say to people chameleon football, because it adapts to the picture, to what we see on the pitch. What's important
this is
on
when
some of these
the 8
clips
becomes a wing.
Sorry, Spuda. What's important on some of these clips is the principle of winning the back of the defender, and that's very, very important for us. Is win the back of the defender.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can continue, Spuda. Sorry.
Okay. Now just showing an example of when one of our 8s becomes our wingers. As we're saying, we don't have wingers, but we will get minimal wides from different positions.
Yes. So here is a 3+3.
You can see the 3 and the 3 we were talking about. Yeah, the 3+3 we were talking about, with the keeper being one of the center backs, which pushes one of the center backs out. That's actually a center back that you see there. And that's our 6 now breaking the line. And now we have an 8 wide. This is actually a left-sided 8, but he's now taken width.
But
and
here
the 6 has
you're
moved into
using
the
width,
10 pocket
right?
because we moved it. You could say that, yes. It's what the coach was saying earlier, that you can use it to get in, but it's not something we look for. As we said, the goal is central.
Mm-hmm.
It's to look to get back. As you can see now, it's minimal width. He did not stay on the touchline. He was the winger a few seconds ago, and now he's in the half space.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Maybe a small, a small remark, coach. It's
Then
that.
Ace moved him wide.
Yeah, sorry, it's just maybe a small question to the coach. You don't mind playing like defenders, not really on their good foot. For example, having a right defender foot on the right side and a left one on the left side.
Or maybe two left center backs.
Yeah, or two left center back,
That's
for
the right
example.
The conventional answer should be that for the team to have balance, you need one left on the left, one right on the right. The conventional answer. But there's a lot of things that happen in football that make me question whether or not should you not have left footers on the right hand side of the pitch from right back to right center back to right wing to right eight, because and then left footers on the right hand side, the left footers on the right hand side and the right footers on the left hand side, because what it then does, it means is that you orientate your football actions to.
Maybe you can reconnect if you want, coach.
That was really an interesting answer.
Yeah, on the question. Yeah, absolutely.
The question, yeah.
Yeah.
Having all the left-sided players on the.
And
the
I understood what he wanted to say with that, because you will always come in, cut inside, and
Exactly.
and you will be previsible. So I think that's what he wanted to say. Sbu, you can confirm. You know the coach.
Yeah, no, definitely. So in our 4 years here, we've used all 4 combinations. So we've used the normal right on the right, left on the left. But we've also, our first league title, half of the season, we had to play with a left and a left. We've obviously done a right and a right, and then we've also crossed them over. Like recently now, we have a build-up scheme where we cross them over because we feel like the left foot is better at a diagonal pass inside. I don't know if you can see the picture I'm painting.
Yeah.
So maybe sorry about that.
Imagine a center back. Yeah.
No worries.
Thank you, Sbuha, for the explanation. Yeah, coach, you were saying on the right-footed players on the left and left-footed players on the right.
Yeah, but I just think that the orientation will be a bit more central, and I think as soon as we I think the more we expose the importance of diagonality and verticality, I think it's not a bad idea to actually play with lopsided or inverted players in different positions. I think it's a possibility also with the man marking that's coming, and the possibilities to change direction in relation to the side of the pitch. I don't know. It's something that I thought about, and I don't think it's far off from football. It's been done before. With I remember Luis Enrique did it with Umtiti and Piqué when he was at Barcelona, and he was expecting a very high press, I think, and he used the inverted centre backs to be able to play diagonal balls on the opposite side to shift the opponents back into the direction that they come from. But football is football, and all these things, they come and they go, and I think there will come a time, in my opinion, I think there will come a time where a lot of people will think it's important to play left footers on the right and right footers on the left.
That would be very interesting to see in a real game, because
Well, we see it in our national team. Sorry, but we use Mazraoui, who is right-footed players in the left. So in our national team in Morocco. So
and also for center backs,
yeah,
but I'm saying from all the positions, like from center back to full back to
yeah.
that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, because the general idea is when you open the FIFA manual, the first sentence is the team that scores the most goals wins.
Exactly.
So obviously the objective of the game is to play towards the goal so that you can win. And I think that when you have players whose natural tendency is to direct themselves towards goal, I think you have a better chance to win. It's just something that I thought about, but I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's something that I've thought about.
You have the right anyway to speak with your mind and to tell what's your truth. But yeah.
Well, I guess there was a time I think it's Mourinho who asked, like, he has put a fullback when he was in Inter. I guess he has put a right fullback to cover Messi, and especially like to be able to mark him and not let him shoot because with his left foot, because if you are a right-footed one, you can be able like to cover Messi better and to not let him shoot with his left foot.
You're talking about Messi in his prime. You can put two players.
Yeah, but
we will find a way.
It worked. It works a bit well.
It worked, and we've done it before here at Sundowns with a player like Tapelo Morena when we played against Orlando Pirates with Saleng, and Saleng uses his left foot on the right hand side to cut inside and dribble, and then we use the right footer to defend that space. It makes absolute sense because 1v1 is never equal. So if you are left-footed and that's your strongest side, and you attack me on my left foot and that's my weakest side, or on my right foot and that's my weakest side, of course you're gonna beat me in a one-on-one. But if we go to a 1v1 and you cut inside with your left foot and you cut towards my right foot, then there's certain other elements like defensive technique and speed and maybe aggression and maybe many other things that make that 1v1 less equal. But the truth of the matter is it's not a bad idea. I think that's a very, very good idea and something that we've tried also.
Mm-hmm. You still have clips to show, Sbu or the coach?
Yeah, it's up to you if you're still on midfield progression or are you moving on?
Yeah, we can move on if you have other slides.
Yeah, it's a very long document. It's about 300 slides and it's only half of it. So
let's take just some points. We saw the build-up, we saw the progression. I'm interested to see your rest defense display and counter pressing if you have clips on counter pressing and high pressing if you have. That's the only three things that we want to display.
All right, we can start with the rest defense.
Yes.
So we have the 2v2+3 that the coach was talking about. I don't know if you can see the graphic.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah.
So this used to be our normal one, and then just show you clips that elaborate on that. The center backs being brave to go 1v1 against the opponent strikers.
It's actually slow. The video can. I don't know if it's only from my side or.
I feel like it's okay. It looks good.
Yeah, it's good.
It looks good.
Okay.
It looks good.
Okay, then let's go.
I don't know if you can see this picture. So there's this line of 3 here, and there's a line of 2 just behind them, but they also man to man. So with the striker here, there's a center back on him. And then we attack the box with 5. So you see how well we've covered the box.
Can you get back, please? This is very interesting. So
Yeah.
they have two players, and you put two players on man-to-man, right?
Yeah, and it has to go man to man. They have to be brave because what the strikers were doing on this match is they were cheating in the wide channels. So we had to make our centre backs also go man to man on the sides.
Okay. And it's not very dangerous this for you, because
It is, but there's games where we have to go brave. So this was like first versus 16th in the league, which is the last place team, and it was just a low block all day. So we have to get a little bit more aggressive with it.
okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Otherwise, it ends 0-0.
Okay.
Here you mentioned that there is large like width between two players, right?
Distances. Yeah, so it's important for the six, as you saw there, to fill into that gap before the opponents can get there.
Now here you attack the half space.
Yeah. As you can see again, the box is covered, the rest defense. 1v1 on the last line. There's the other defender there, and he has to fill in the chain quickly.
But
We are plus one.
the problem here, for it's a question for both of you, Coach and Svu. The issue I can see here is that your block is not really compact. There is like 40 meters between the first line and the defensive line. The two center backs that are really low, I mean, and the first line of attack that is even against a deep block, like you said, but it's still like I have the feeling that it's 40 meters block, or maybe 50, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is that the thing is, you're not playing alone. Where is the block of the opponent? So the opponent decides to have 8 players behind and in and around the box, and then there's 20-25 meters between them and the two strikers. So what do? Do you push up the line, and even when the opponent's strikers are in the halfway line, to avoid being offside, and neglect the responsibility that comes with the transition. Is the compactness of a team out of possession is going to be in relation to the compactness or lack of compactness of the opposition when they are in attack.
Yeah, I saw actually a clip of Thierry Henry actually talking about it. I don't see, for example, Premier League teams do this kind of stuff in Premier League. I see a lot of teams playing against Manchester City, and they play with compact teams with all of their players. They don't use like this one player and put it really wide in order for the Guardiola team, for example, to be aware of him. For example, they put all the teams compact and they use all their players because they know that the quality is so high in for example, the teams of Guardiola, and that they can't afford to defend only with 8 or 9 players.
100%, 100%, and then it's a situation of the teams deciding: do they defend with 9? Do they defend with 8 plus a keeper? And then you've got to respond to that. You've got to. The game tells you what the answer is. It's not what you want to do on the football pitch. It's what does the game tell you to do, and that's the most important thing. If the game tells you that there's defenders, strikers that are far away from the defenders, I mean, what does that then says? It says the last line of your defense has to be proper, and get ready to deal with the possibilities of the counter attack.
And they should stay close to the strikers, or maybe 1 meter, so that they can handle also the deep when they have balls behind their backs.
It depends on the scenario. One is they've got to read the picture. If the ball is not covered from the opponents, then of course they've got to detach and try to prioritize the space behind.
Okay.
It's very important. But it's also a consideration is what type of striker are you marking? Is it a striker that even if it goes behind us, I'm still fast enough to be able to recover? Because like I always say to you, a 1v1 is never equal. So the point is the qualitative profile of the player that you're dealing with. Is he a player that if he gets it to feet can turn and dribble? So maybe is an arm's length, and to give a bit of distance and wait for the turn and get into that space. But at the end of the day, the reality is it's just so many components and aspects to it that make that decision ultimately later for the centre backs.
Mm-hmm. No, it's clear. Okay. Maybe we can move to high pressing, Smo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just open high press.
So as you see, we have different rest defense structures here. So it's not only the one we were showing now. As the coach says, it always depends on the game situation and the profile of the opponents. But
Yeah.
we'll show you some of the high pressing schemes.
Okay.
This is when we used to press with a 4-2-4.
But here they have maybe positional advantage in this.
Yes, but they don't have the
Yeah,
ball.
so we emphasize a lot of legs now. If you look what we're highlighting in this video,
Keep going, Spuda.
now I was just showing him because you're saying Chiefs in this situation have a lot of positional advantages. And I'm saying that's when we emphasize the legs of our midfielders. If you saw what we were highlighting in this video, it's the legs of the midfielders making up that space. And then in this same game, we actually got a goal from a press. Actually, 2 goals if you count the one from the kickoff also.
And coach, you never
Just another example.
ask the defender to commit, for example, in the press.
Yes. It's very important. It depends. It depends on what where do we commit, and if we make a decision to commit to the opposition goalkeeper, then it's important that the strikers are a little bit more aggressive, and then the centre back can be a little bit more aggressive. It's very important.
Okay.
But I don't think there is. I don't think when I watch the modern game at the moment, there's a lot of teams who are worried to be numerically inferior in midfield on the high press. I don't think so. I think they rely on the, like Spoo says, I think they rely on the legs and the capacity of the players to be able to recover the position.
Here, this is a clip that we will like. If you get back to the Casablanca Stadium.
Okay, I'll show that one. I was just showing this one. It's
okay, go
the
on.
goal from the same match. So I was just showing the goal that we were talking about.
Okay.
You see there's a pressing trap set on the 6. First, we force them to come inside. The trap is actually on him. Again, as I was saying, it's the legs, it's the fullback going to fullback.
Yeah. Actually, you force him to play a long
long ball. So in this same match, from the same situation, they actually passed the 6. We stole the ball and we got a goal. And this is the Casablanca one we were talking about, to Stoch Abdelmo Naim, the bravery to quickly get to the fullback and apply pressure. So as you're asking with the center backs, we allow the fullbacks to go fullback to fullback and apply pressure.
Yeah, that's Munaim Botwell for people who are watching us. Okay. Just one question before we go back to tactics. How is it to play in Donor, in Casablanca Stadium? The atmosphere, for example.
It's daunting. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They are so passionate. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And maybe a word about Botwell, about our Moroccan player playing in Mamelodi Sundowns.
But why are you worried? I think he's happy. I think he's at a good club. I think he's got good players. I think he's got good coaches around him to help him. I think he's
actually not. The word was not worried, but just a word about him. Like, if you can say something
A
about
word.
him, or
A word,
yeah.
a word. Yes, not worried.
Oh, word.
He's
Yeah.
not. I don't think he's worried with you,
I think he's
especially with
happy.
you
Yeah.
as a coach. I think he's happy and he's having
He
his
should
best
be.
life there.
Yeah.
No, I've heard a lot of interviews where he speaks about me in the Moroccan media, and I'm very humbled by the words that he shares and he expresses, because I just think he's an incredible human being. Also, I think he's a very good person. I think he's a talented footballer. I think he should. I think the Moroccan newspapers and the media and the journalists should make more noise for Abdel to be in the national team. And I know it's not easy, because you've got players from Real Betis and you've got players from West Ham, and you've got, it's not an easy national team. PSG with Hakimi, but I think Abdel Munaim's form last season, and if he can catch that form next season after the operation, I think Abdel Munaim can do something for the national team of Morocco. He's a very good player. He comes from a very good family. I've had the honor to meet the mother, the father, the brother, and it's an unbelievably warm family. And as I said to you, it's just a reflection of how kind and how good you are as Moroccans, and you should be proud of Abdel Munaim, because he reflects who you are as Moroccans, and he represents you very, very well.
Thank you. Thank you for
That's
your
very
kind.
nice words. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So we
Uh,
really appreciate it anyway. Yeah. Maybe we have also some other questions. Maybe we can finish with the high press and with the support videos. It was very interesting anyway.
Mm.
So if we can finish the last video, if it's possible.
Should you play the last video of the high press?
Yes.
This was in the Netherlands preseason against Sparta.
So here, for
It's the
example,
central
coach,
tabs we
if you
speak
can
of.
pause it, if you can pause it on the first line when when the ball is with the defender, you leave the left back alone, right?
It depends. Like I say to you, it always depends on the opposition. Sometimes there's players where we sacrifice to say, okay, in possession there's not so much danger. So
Yes.
let's allow him to be free, and if he gets the ball, okay, we restructure ourselves and we wait. We've moved more into a hybrid press that is constantly changing in intensity, changing in depth, changing in shape also. So we try to stay in that space, but yeah, it depends on the opposition.
Okay. Okay. And is there sometimes where you press really with man-to-man marking
Yes, yeah.
in the same match?
Yeah. There are games where this season we've done. In fact, we started doing man-to-man marking. I don't know, Spuda, if you I think last season already.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you continue. Sorry, Sbua.
Oh no, I thought the coach was going on.
No,
Because
you.
it was last season. So last season we had a bit of a but it's not in this document with the clips.
Okay, no issue. We can continue on this one already on the video that you are displaying.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, here we can see the compactness of your block,
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's helped by the compactness of the opposition. So
Yes, exactly.
we want to try this the moment the ball goes into a certain area, we want to try to make that area as small as possible. Because you know the story, you can't defend in a big area. So the compactness will come in relation to where the ball goes, and the teammates of the opposition that are in and around the ball, and in which areas do they occupy on the pitch, and that's very, very important for us.
Yeah. Oh, this is very interesting, because once you recover the ball, is it a rule for your team to play vertically?
Yeah, well, look, like I say to you see, you have to choose. You have to choose whether do you press to defend, because there are teams that press to defend, like Atletico Madrid, for an example. They press to defend, and if it's not a foul, it's to make sure the ball stays and the man doesn't, and the man can go, but the ball has to stay. But then you've got possibilities to say, do you press to score? And Jurgen Klopp has always said that the best number 10 in the world of football is a very good counter press.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important that you can counter press and press high, especially because it's close to the opposition goal, and then with orientation, because the most important thing is how do you orientate your bodies while you are defending, because it's the body position that while you are defending that will allow you to have an advantage when you are attacking. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So
yes,
there's so much detail that really goes into this thing, and we have to be able to teach the players the fundamentals and the details.
This last video was not a good memory for us.
Yeah, I think the viewers that will be
I remember it well. By the way, I had a question for you. I prepared a question for you. You played against Wydad several times. I think it was against Adil Ramzi the last time on the final of the Super League, and right before that it was in the semi-final of the Champions League against Sven, right? Sven van der Broek, I guess. Yeah. The question is, who gives you the more, let's say, headache when you play against?
I don't like talking about coaches and colleagues,
Okay.
because a lot of the colleagues, I don't know, sometimes, I don't know, so I don't know what has happened to the industry of coaching, so it's better not to talk about any of my colleagues, to be honest. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, no issue. All right.
But if we go back to this clip, actually, because it's very interesting, there was a trap on this to make it so. And if you can just explain it a little bit to our viewers.
Okay, so as you can see, it's a 4-2-4 staggered and the central pressing trap. So as you remember the clip earlier from the Netherlands, what we are looking to do is to eventually force you inside, steal the ball, and as the coach said, if we win it inside, we go directly to goal, and that's what we are looking for here. So later I'll show you our pressing triggers, but in this clip there's so many pressing triggers. First, the body position is square. Body position is square. He's facing his own goal. The pass, you'll see it's a bouncing pass. Invites our pressure a bit more. He's struggling to control the ball. Plays a pass under pressure without really seeing or scanning, so it's another pressing trigger. And as you can see, it forces our team to come closer because of the trigger. And as you asked earlier, to win the ball after that, if the opportunity is there, it's vertical and look to go to score immediately.
So when you say trigger, is the players know when to press, when to go?
The players know triggers. So we have it started with 12 triggers, it's about 16 triggers now, and the players know all of these triggers.
Very interesting.
And actually, he didn't see the player go in from the other side. So when he made the pass, the Wydad player, when he made the pass, he couldn't see the player who got the ball. Very interesting.
Yeah, so the player who gets the ball moves because he can see that the guy cannot see him because his body position is all wrong and he's facing his own goal. So that's the trigger for him to say, this is my opportunity to go.
This is the funniest video or goal that we've scored, because leading up to the final, we worked on this press. We worked on this press so many times, and we were just struggling to get it. And I got very emotional. I said to the players, "Okay, guys, we will press the press that you have been pressing the whole season." And then they were like, "No, no, 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 no. We'll do your press, coach." And it's funny that the press that we did resulted in a goal. It was actually quite interesting.
It was a good game, this one from your side. I remember it. I
Yeah.
remember that Wydad didn't play good, but because you guys played good. But I remember also the home game for Wydad, which is the away game for you. I remember the first half, and I had this impression that Adi Ramzi, which was the coach of Wydad at that time, he put really a good game on that first half. They had also high pressing with the Atitla and Lamloud, the fullbacks coming inside in the half spaces when they crossed. Also, I thought that I didn't know actually if that was actually a decision from you to play with the block and transition on that really, especially in that first half, or was it because Wydad was playing so good at home and they were high pressing and didn't give you the space to take the ball and to attack?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like I said, I mean, it's difficult to go to Casablanca and think you're going to dominate the game. It's impossible. Hamloud and especially Hamloud and Etihad Allah. And then you've got Jabran who controls everything in the midfield and creates possibilities for the team of France. So we knew we were going to have moments of suffering, but we did very well. I thought we kept the shape compact enough. We suffered in the most important moments, and I think we should have scored first, because we had two very, very good chances. We had a chance that was ruled off slightly for offside for Peter Shalulile, and then we had one a couple of seconds before that with Noah Mayama also playing a dodge pass for Peter, but I think that's what the Champions League is about. It's about defining moments, it's small moments that you've got to be able to capitalize on, and I think particularly with the AFL, I think we showed that we've got the possibilities to be able to compete at that space.
Yeah.
I think we can stop the supports. Thank you, Sbu, for the videos. Thank you, Coach, also for the explanations. We can move to the last part
Thank you.
of the podcast. Anwar, I'll let you ask the first question you want for the coach.
Yeah. Actually, Coach, when we're talking about Mamelodi Sundowns, it's actually half of the players that are playing in the South African team. And we've seen in the African Cup how the South African team beat the Moroccan team. So, do you have something to tell us about how you saw this game in particular, and how the South African team could win against the Moroccan team? Since you know the players very well, actually.
No, I just think the players are fantastic football players. I think part of the Bafana team at the moment is a team that's made out of very, very good players, very talented players. And I think the fact that they come from one environment, which is the domestic league in South Africa, I think that helps them a lot. I think that's where they have they share a mentality that is very, very very important, to help them to be the team that they are. And then of course they've got very, very good players. Like I say, it's a team of very good players. Percy is good. Tembazwane is good. Mokwena is good. He's a very, very good player. Sailor is good. Ronza in goals is exceptional. So
He did harm us a lot, Tebo Mokwena. I remember. I
Pardon?
remember him well.
No, Tebo Mokwena is a very, very good player.
He's very, very good.
Very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
good.
he's improved also quite a bit. He's
Oh, we
I
lost.
think we lost the connection with you.
Now we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, Coach.
Sorry about that, guys.
No issue.
All right.
It's okay.
What
yes,
were we
still
talking about? Sorry.
about the match against South Africa against Morocco and the African Cup of Nations. What are your thoughts and analysis about the match and how
No, I don't have much to say about it except to say that I think we've got an exceptional squad, and I think I'm very proud of the players that represent Bafana and come from Mamelodi Sundowns because they've shown that they've improved and they've gotten better and they can help the national team. So I'm very proud of them.
Okay, I have a question because I saw the Esperance game on the Champions League semi-final. Especially the home game, the second game. And I will be honest. It was for me a replica of the match of Manchester City against Real Madrid, the second game also, because when I saw the statistic, it was some kind of 27 shots against 5 or 6 for the Esperance. How do you explain that? 27 shots without scoring one goal.
It's crazy to I don't know. Look, we did everything we can. You know, sometimes that's football. Sometimes football, you win, you lose, or you draw. 9 times out of 10, you lose more than you win. So you try to make sure that you win the games that matter. And unfortunately, we couldn't win that match, even though we had so much possession and so much dominance. But like I always say, you know, even for the Champions League, you need a little bit of luck to win the Champions League. You know. And in that game we didn't have luck, but we also had bad luck because they went once to the other side and they scored, you know. So it was very, very difficult. But I think the effort of the players, the commitment, the intensity, the desire, I think the players did very, very well.
Yeah, bad luck for that. So maybe, Coach, you know, we have a lot of Moroccan viewers. Can you tell us, give us a word on what do you think about the national Moroccan team actually?
No, I think you've got a very good side. I think you've got a very good side. I think you've got a team that can go all the way, in my opinion. I think you've got if you look at Bono, the goalkeeper, I think you've got one of the best in the continent, of course. And there's a reason why he played in Europe. Diaz is a very good player for you. Ziyech is important for you. Etihad Allah, as I said, is an important Amrabat in the midfield. And Hakimi, you know. So it's a good team. I think you've got a good team. I think you've got a team that no wonder you went so far in the World Cup, you know. But look, football is football, you know. You've got to continue to. You're only as good as your last performance, so they've got to get better and better and better and better and better.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a question before I get back to the national team, because, like I said on off when we were speaking, we had this exercise that we do with the animation progression. That's something we'd like to do. I will show it later on. But I'd like to ask you, for example, if you have to choose one or two players to take from, since you played against Wydad, one or two players from Wydad that you want to have and to get to Mamelodi Sundowns, who would it be?
It's a difficult question because I think Wydad have got some very good players, and I think the player that I like the most is gone already. So
who is it?
Etihad Allah. I like Etihad Allah.
Okay. All right.
I think he's an unbelievable footballer. He's athletic. He's fast. He's aggressive. He's good with the ball, and he defends very well one-on-one with the Jewels. I like him a lot. I really, really like him. And then also, I think Jabran is a very, very good player.
Okay. So between Atiyatullah and Mazraoui, you would go with Atiyatullah?
Mazraoui, I'm not so sure. I like Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui is a very good player. But I like Jabran more. I like Jabran more, to be honest with you. I really do like Jabran more.
Okay.
Anwar, you have a question for the coach?
Yes. Actually, do you imagine yourself coaching a national team?
And especially the question we all have is why didn't you get the South African national team yet?
Well, South Africa's got a national team coach, and he's doing very well. So we've got to support him, but he's doing very, very well. Do I think I'll coach the national team? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if I'll coach. I'll coach for the next 5 years. I might even retire very, very soon, and sooner than a lot of people think.
because we say that it's another job. Coaching a national team is not the same as coaching a club. So, do you imagine yourself, for example, coaching a national team? It's not the same calendar.
No, but maybe later in my career, maybe later when I'm, towards the end, and I've got too much passion at the moment. I've got too much energy.
Yeah.
I want to be on the pitch. I've got too many ideas in my head that sometimes I want to share with the players, and I don't know whether they are right ideas or wrong, or I want to share with the staff. And so I think I've got too much energy for a national team job at the moment, but you never know, Look at Julian Nagelsmann, and as young as he is, look at where he is and what he's doing with the German national team.
You can always bounce back, actually, like Luis Enrique, for example. He took the Spain national team, then gets back to PSG, so it can happen. But let's imagine the president of the Federation of Morocco, Fawzi Lakja. If he takes his phone and calls you, would you take that call, or would you be interested?
I would take the call and say, "Hi, how are you, President? It's so good so good to hear your voice. What an amazing president you are."
And that's it.
And that's where the conversation would end. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Coach.
You go, Anwar, go.
No, you can go.
Yeah. Actually, no. I think it was. I also had the same questions because, we were telling maybe if you have the opportunity to train a national team or the Moroccan national team, would you take it or not?
No. He responded that you will take the call, but
but you guys have got a very good national team coach. He's a fantastic national team coach. I think he's the African coach of the season, if I'm not mistaken. No, and he did a very good job in the World Cup. So I think he deserves to be given more time and support. He's a very good coach.
But let's say after he's gone.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen after anyone is gone. we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised to anybody. We've just got to make sure that we do the best that we can. I'm very happy at Sundowns. I'm happy with the club. I'm happy with the players, and of course I'm humbled by the recognition that I get in North Africa. When I go to Wydad, the supporters of Wydad, they showed me so much love and respect and appreciation, and it really humbled me. It's same in Al Ahly with the Al Ahly fans, So I'm really humbled by the support and the love that I get from North Africa. It humbles me really.
So if I understand well, the door is still open. No shut it down. Okay, I think maybe we can move to the last part, which with the exercise of animation. I don't know if you have my screen.
I don't know if I have your screen, but I must just tell you that my battery is gonna die in.
Yeah, we are at the end. Don't worry. We'll do the last.
Yeah. Okay, I see the animation now. Okay, yeah. I see the animation.
Yeah, this is actually our national team. Oh wait, sorry,
Yes.
I need to put it like this. So we actually play like this with Mazraoui,
Okay.
Hakim here,
Yeah.
Amrabat here,
Yeah.
Diaz at the center.
Yeah.
Uh, maybe it's not Rahimi, but it's Ben Seguir, Kabi and
Okay.
Ziyad, and we have Unahi here.
Mm. Yeah.
Let me change him. So, for example, if you are playing, you have this team, okay, and
Yes.
you are playing against not a low block, but a medium block with the 4 1
Yeah.
4 1 formation.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how you animate this? What would be the dynamics you would put on your team, and how you would put your team already on a positional style?
Well, it's difficult to say because you have to know
Play.
the qualities of the players. But what I would do is I would play a little bit asymmetric, where I would have Ben Said in between the center back. So if you just move Ben Said in between the center back and the fullback,
Ben
so
Seguir, this one here.
Ben Sige, yeah, Ben Sige,
Okay.
but yeah, so that he's able to pin both the center back and the fullback, and
Okay.
then I'd have Mazraoui a little bit higher in that midfield line, just to go a little bit higher,
Here.
a little bit more,
Here.
yeah, yeah, but a little bit wider.
Okay. Here.
So now you've got a two versus one between the winger and the fullback, and
Okay.
yeah, you see,
This
you've got
one.
it perfect. All right,
Yeah.
and then what I would also do is because Ziyech, I think he loves his left foot more. I would put him a little bit wider. So I'd put him in the position of Mazraoui, but on the other side, yeah, so that
Okay.
he's got possibilities to cut inside. And
Okay.
then what I would also do is I would get my center backs a little bit higher, and
Okay.
I would get Hakimi a bit more inverted, but I need Hakimi to be inverted.
Here.
Yes, exactly
Okay.
there for the underlaps and the overlaps, and possibly to try to create to try and create 2v1s on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
But Aguero and Raid would go a little bit more, because Bruno is quite good with his feet, so a little bit more rotated and wider, so a little bit wider, so that they can attract the wingers of the opponent,
So
and when they
here.
can, yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So that they attract the wingers of the opponent. Now, when they attract the wingers of the opponent, you leave the fullbacks with a 2v1. So instead of the fullback coming to drop back to help the defender deal with Hakimi and Ziyech,
Mm-hmm.
I would have the center back a little bit wider. Bono can come a little bit higher, so just so that we can get him a little bit more involved. Yeah,
Here.
somewhere there. That's perfect. And if he stays a little bit deeper, so let's just say he stays a little bit deeper, I
Mm-hmm.
would I would put Amrabat in between the two center backs, because I think Amrabat plays a little bit better when he sees the pitch.
Yes.
Uh,
Like
and
Jabran.
yeah, like Jabran, when he sees the pitch, I think he's better. But
Yeah.
when his back is towards goal, I think there's a little bit of a problem. And then I would have
Unai.
Nice.
Onai and Diaz as the two pivots. So
Okay.
that
Like
is,
this.
yeah, that is how that's how. And then I would try to get the wingers. If you go to the wingers of the opponent in white, to go and press the center backs.
This one like this, and this
Yeah,
one like.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
someone to go and go and press Amrabat. Someone
Okay.
needs
This
to.
one.
Yes, there you go. Now you've got your 1v1. But now you see where the problems you've created for the opponent is, now you've got a false nine who's a problem for the six and for the center backs. But
Mm-hmm.
you've got two players in between the fullback and the center back, which is a big problem for the center back, because now the center back says, do I mark Hakimi, or do I mark the striker, El Kabi.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's a lot of possibilities for me to think about, but I think that's how I would do it.
You
Yeah.
create uncertainty and a lot of superiority of the team.
Yeah,
Because,
and also it's the qualities of the players.
yeah, because if the ball comes to Ziyech, for example, this left back, for example, he doesn't know if he stays with Hakimi or if he commits to Ziyech, and then he creates the
Exactly.
space. Yeah.
Exactly. And when he commits to Ziyech, Ziyech can already use his left foot to release Hakimi a
Yeah.
little bit closer towards the goal.
Mm. So, Coach, thank you for giving us your time today. It was really a pleasure talking to you. We really appreciate the videos and the support and clips that you showed, the explanations that you gave, all the times that you allowed us today. So we enjoyed our time today with you. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I think you've got a fantastic coach and as I said already, with your Moroccan national team, I think your national team is very strong, and you guys are doing some fantastic work, even with the youth. And I know your under-20s won the World Cup or something like that also recently. So it's fantastic that you're doing such great work within your country, and long may it continue.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having Spoo. Thanks for allowing Gulam to arrange everything. And it was a great, insightful discussion. And thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed your time with us anyway. That's the most important.
No, I did, and I learned a lot. It's important to learn from each other. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you so much. Guys, you want to say something to the coach?
Yeah, one last word to the coach. It was really a real pleasure having this time with you. We thank also Sbu being with us.
Yes, absolutely.
We learned Gulam also, of course. Yeah. We learned a lot actually from you, coach. There was a lot of insights, a lot of tactics, and we are proud also as African to have a coach like you. Actually, very young. And we hope that we will see you be bigger, and we see you maybe in Europe or in big teams, because you have the ability and the capacity to do it.
Yeah, thank you so much, coach. It was really very insightful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I felt like I learned a lot, and I felt also a lot of energy. I feel that you have a lot of like hunger, and I hope that you will win, and that you could like achieve what you want. And as we said, we are here really to try to promote also African football. So it's very important also for us to have this kind of meetings between us, because the idea is really to be hand in hand to promote Africa more and more.
Exactly.
No, thank you guys. I'm humbled by your words, and I also am humbled by the love and appreciation I receive in your country. It's truly humbling, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, coach. And I think you will inspire more than one in the continent with your work. And I really wish you a good career. And I hope you the best for the future. So thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Good night.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. السلام عليكم الدراري، رجعنا معكم عاوتاني لا ديرنيير بارتي ديال الابيزود. كان ان ابيزود صراحه اللي تري انريشيسون، تعلمنا منه بزاف، حتى هو الى باسي ان بون مومون معنا. دونك فوالا اون فولي لو ريميرسيي، وكنشكركم حتى نتوما الدراري اللي كتفرجوا فينا من البدايه. جيسبيغ الابيزود يكون عجبكم. المهم حنا الصراحه اون ابري دو بليزير، وفوالا الدراري ان ديرني مو.
وي ديرنيي مو الصراحه تعلمنا بزاف ديال الحوايج، استفدنا بزاف ديال الحوايج، وجيسبر كو الناس اللي تفرجوا فينا حتى هما يكونوا استافدوا، باسكو كانوا بزاف ديال الحوايج اللي تقالوا. صافي بليزير يكون ان كوتش افريكان بحال هكا بهاد لي زيدي ديالو وهاد الثقافه الكرويه اللي عنده. دونك سي تري بيان. و دونك فوالا الكلمه الاخرى هي كنسلم على الناس اللي كيتفرجوا فينا، وجيسبر عاوتاني تكون عندنا الفرصه اننا نوريكم دوطخ كوتش ان شاء الله في
ان
لافنير.
شاء الله.
وي لا بصح استفدنا منه بزاف، عطانا بزاف ديال المعلومات الصراحه قيمين. وزعما كيعجبك انك تشوف زعما ان كوتش بحال هكا تا هو باقي جون، وكيقول لك راه باقي عنده بزاف ديال لي زيدي وباغي يزيد، باقي هادشي اللي كيدير كامل باقي بحال تبان لك ما كافيش، عنده واحد الرغبه كبيره. دونك صراحه صافي بليزير، و تا هو نيت تري سامبا وكان معنا تري اوفير في الهضره ديالو. دونك نتمنى نقدروا نعاودوا نديروا ان شاء الله، غادي نعاودوا نديروا دي زيبيزود مع دي كوتش اخرين
ان شاء الله. pourquoi pas هو نيت peut-être dans un moment.
في شي وقت.
فوالا دراري، شكرا لكم، شكرا لكم بزاف. نيزيتي با تلوحوا لينا لي كومونتير ديالكم، مهمين بزاف لي كومونتير في لا فيديو، وقولوا لنا حتى نتوما كي جاكم ليبيزود تاع هي، باش حنا يكون عندنا واحد شويه ديال الفيدباك باش نعرفوا حتى حنا كيفاش كيفاش داز ليبيزود، ونتمنى يكون عجبكم. تهلاو ليا في معاهم.
قولوا لنا كي جاتكم لونجلي نقيه ولا لا.
يلا الله يعاونكم.
الله يعاونكم. سلام.
يلا بسلامه.